Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about gun companies that are trend setters, trend followers, and then I'm just going to briefly talk about those companies that refuse to do anything and just kind of sit around and coast on their laurels for 30 years. Glock, that's probably all I need to talk about that. But anyway, so back in 2017, Sig Sauer introduced a handgun that would really change the way concealed carry guns would be viewed in terms of design. Right? Polymer frame, striker fired, very small, 10 rounds originally, but you can get extended magazines for them. Then they came out with various other models with extended grips and stuff like that, like the XL and the P365X macro, all that good stuff. Don't need to go into the full product lineup, but the point being is that Sig set that standard. They patented their magazine, and they had introduced this tiny little pistol. And this one's my 380 because I accidentally grabbed it, but the 9mm is the exact same size. They really kind of set the entire gun industry on its ear. Everybody looked at Sig, it's like, oh, we got to make one of those. But even years after this was introduced, there were some big names out there that took a look at this and said, now, you know what, I think I'm going to make a gun that's even bigger, single stack, and do dumb things with it and try to sell it for the same price as this, and hopefully somebody will buy it. And that's what we're going to talk about with a few handguns out here today. And they're going to throw in one honorable mention just because it was so incredibly stupid when it was introduced. It was introduced in 2017, went out of production in 2021, and it was in production for 4 years, and it should have been in production for 4 minutes, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. We'll end the video on that note. So let's start off shooting the P365. Interesting little gun, had its problems in the beginning. I was one of its staunchest critics, but I kept writing Sig and posting all the problems it had, multiple videos, and Sig was listening, and over the years, they have produced an exceptionally well-rounded handgun that is reliable, no striker drag, all that good stuff, just an outstanding handgun that to this day, I still believe is the leader in this type of handgun. And I do still think this is the future of concealed carry for the average concealed carry shooter. My little ringer on the left doesn't ring anymore. I'm gonna have to replace that one. But yeah, this 380 is a lot of fun to shoot. This thing has like zero recoil, but just it's the exact same grip size, uses the 10-round magazines, all that good stuff. But very, very cool gun, very forward thinking. And now let's take a look at some not so forward thinking guns that I personally wouldn't recommend buying. And the guns we're gonna show you came into copper used because the people that bought them would agree they were kind of silly. They didn't like them either. Let me prefix this next conversation by saying that I love Beretta as a company. Been around for 500 years, privately owned. I thought the M9 was a fine service handgun. I didn't think that it needed to be replaced by the M17 and M18. And I kind of lobbied for the US military to continue using the M9 or M9 A1 or even the M9 A3. So Beretta as a company, I really like. But even big companies like Beretta is capable of stepping on its own reproductive organs every once in a while. And the APX carry is one of those examples. Now this gun would come 2 years after Sig introduced the P365. This gun is bigger than the P365. The P365 is about an inch thick. This gun is about an inch thick, but this gun holds 6 rounds in a single stack magazine, whereas the P365 holds 10 rounds in a double stack magazine. And again, I want to drive home, it's smaller. It also doesn't have this massive unsightly bore axis and really goofily large trigger guard, but for a gloved hand that does make sense. The gun is typical Beretta quality, is good quality, but the design is just, I'm sorry, I gotta say it, it's stupid. It should have never happened. And if that wasn't bad enough, in 2021 they thought, well, let's make an A1 version of it, and instead of double stacking it like other companies were doing to their existing single stack small handguns, Beretta stuck with the single stack and just went ahead and slide cut it for an optic. And you can't give these away. These things keep popping up in copper used. They don't have any trade-in or resale value. People that buy them pretty quickly determine that they don't like them generally. I know somebody out there is going to say, I have one and love it. I have 50 of them. I give them to all my friends. But the gun's poorly designed. Now this is one thing that just irks me to no end because there's no reason for it. This gun has the tiniest of grips, and yes, they have a little flush fit magazine, but this gun literally gets 1 and and I don't know, I'd say a quarter finger around it, and the rest of the fingers just kind of dangle. So I'll be generous and say 1.5. So companies that do this will put an extension on the base plate of the magazine so you can get 2.5 fingers on it. And my argument is, stop doing that. Just extend the grip down there, give us the extra magazine capacity, because this is what prints when you carry it anyway. What's the point of doing the extended magazine floor plate? Stupid, but it continues to happen over and over and over again. Let me show you a really good example of that one. Now the gun, again, typical good Beretta quality. Interestingly, even in the A1 version, slide stop, slide release on one side. Not so much on the other side, so it's not an ambi gun, and in 2022, soon to be 2023, extremely short-sighted. The gun has a nice finish, you know, white dot up front, serrated rear sight in the rear. Of course, you have that optics plate in the A1, and it's not necessarily a bad shooting gun, it's just unnecessarily large and single stack. And it just begs the question, why? I would love to be a fly on the wall in that board meeting or executive meeting when they were taking a look at this drawing going, yeah, man, that looks like a good idea. We're going to sell millions of them. Yeah. Nope, I don't think they did. Oh, shucks. I ran out of my 6 rounds awfully quickly. Come on, guys. You can do better than this, Beretta. How about you rethink this, make it a little bit small, a little bit shorter in size, double stack the magazine, because it can be done. Springfield got around Sig's patents as other people have. So try a little harder. You can do better than this. And if you're looking at buying one of these, take a look at something else, would be my advice. I try not to tell people what to buy. Here's another lemon, if you will, from a company that has a big name, storied history, major U.S. military contract supplier, generally makes good firearms. But once again, I think maybe the guys over at FN and Beretta were sitting around drunk one night and had a napkin and a pencil and came up with damn near the same handgun. This is the 503. We've had this gun at Copper since it was introduced. Nobody will buy it. Everybody that picks it up goes, why? It's top heavy, it's thick just like the Beretta, it has that stupid, way too short grip, but fret not, because you do have that 6-round magazine holding me back, but they also offer multiple different magazines with that amazing floor plate on the magazine. So this little wonder makes it 8 rounds. Huh. And with a P365, you can get 10 rounds into a gun that's much smaller than that is still 1 inch wide. This gun has no ambi controls, has no slide cut for an optic up top, doesn't have an ambi magazine release. It doesn't have anything but horridly bad looks, really bad ergonomics, unnecessarily expensive when you compare it to other guns on the market. This thing, I think, of this type of handgun, it's probably the worst. And it's just one of those guns that I not only don't recommend. If I'm going to break my rule and say don't buy something or do buy something, this is one I would strongly recommend against. Just go find something else. Matter of fact, I've never been a big fan of the 509 either. There are better striker fired handguns out there, but some people love them. Not telling you not to go buy one, but the 503, this thing just needs to go away. I know that a lot of people have tried to, extremely reliable handguns as well. I know some folks have tried to talk to FN and say, hey, can you double stack this? Can you make it a little shorter? Can you rework this thing a little bit? But like most big, massive companies that move way too slow, I don't think they're going to do anything but discontinue it. And discontinued, it needs to be. Whopping 8 rounds, and all it cost me was 1.5 inches of base plate on my magazine. Well made, polymer frame, striker fired, and it'll probably sit on the wall for another decade. Look, I get it. Sometimes when you take a first stab at something, you're going to make a few mistakes, and so by the time you do the A1, you try to correct those mistakes and make the product a little bit more appealing, therefore trying to grab more market share. And that's what they did with the A1 that you see here. I mean, they really thought this out well. They put that red dot sight mount on there. And they said, you know, we don't really need that, 10-round magazine. We're going to go ahead and stick with the 6-rounder. But they still forgot one thing. I mean, because nobody ever puts a light on a handgun in 2022. That's almost unheard of. No accessory rail on an A1. Seriously. I wonder if they're just hiring these, kids out of college that aren't even really gun people but have engineering degrees, and they design these things, and then somehow management's drunk on espresso and they just overlook these things. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I'm just kidding, guys. I can actually hit something with it. It's not that inaccurate. It's actually a good shooting gun. Maybe I just need to get a little closer. Oh, it's a Star Wars blaster. This is what the Star Wars biker guys use. Oh, now I get it. That's where it's going to be its real selling point. Darn, that's actually pretty cool. Beretta, they have military contracts around the world. They supply their own military with weapons. They supplied us with the M9 service pistol since 1985 until the M17-18 took over. And FN is another big military contractor. So, they, as much as anybody in that industry, knows the importance of simple things like accessory rails. Well, shucks. I guess they forgot that on this one too. I mean, the gun's just so small probably that they just didn't have enough room to maybe fit one on there. I don't know. You just never know with these things. Great gun. No, seriously, great gun. Love it. All right, so this is the best one for the last. This does not fall into the same category as the previous two handguns, guns that were trying to compete for the P365 market, the micro compact pistol that you can, small enough to you can tuck into a pocket with the proper holster. No, this handgun came out in 2017. This handgun was a gun that literally nobody asked for. Well, maybe somebody did, and the wrong people at Springfield Armory decided to listen to them. Went into production in 2017. By 2021, it was gone and is now showing as discontinued on their website. Thing probably should never went into production, but hey, the XD series of handguns was originally imported into the United States, used to be really affordable, around 300 bucks. They called it the HS2000. Springfield made a deal, bought the rights to the gun, continued to manufacture the guns in Croatia, imported them and remarked them as the XD series of pistols. I digress. This ugly little spud is the XDE. E is for hammer. Right. So anyway, it has a single action, double action hammer. They took the XD series of striker fired polymer frame pistols. They did slim it up a bit, and they put a hammer on it because everybody wants a hammer in 2017. It's not like the striker fired polymer frame pistol has dominated the market or anything. No, they decided this would be a good idea. So they slimmed it out. This one has, a longer barrel, which has this short little single stack grip that makes it look really unbalanced. It does have an ambi hammer drop safety on it, quite forward thinking. It does have an ambi mag release, but no ambi slide stop slide release. Has its, standard loaded chamber indicator up there, whatnot, but this is a very awkward feeling handgun. You do get 2 fingers on it until you put your magazine in it. Let me find the magazine here. I know I stuck it in a pocket somewhere. Just a matter of finding the right pocket. Oh, hey, look, it's got that cool little thing on the rear end of the magazine that nobody wants or needs, and I wish they would stop doing. Because that stupid little short grip isn't so stupid and short looking when you put the magazine in it. Why not just extend the grip? Makes too much sense. So this little Wonder 9 holds 9 rounds of ammunition in a single stack magazine because that's what everybody was begging for in 2019 or 17 when they put this thing out. they wanted to give up those extra, 6 rounds, and they were whatever, 15 plus rounds. They wanted to give those up and go to a 9-shot gun. And they wanted that hammer because it looked so well integrated into the gun. Doesn't look like an afterthought at all. This little gun, well, let's go ahead and fire it double action. Just like every other double action handgun I've ever fired. Feels like it's 1990 all over again. Single action, once it's fired, stays cocked. Nice wicked trigger slap, feels great on a cold winter day. And yeah, discontinued, definitely gonna be a collectible. And yeah, let's take a look at those other 2 guns and show you what they looked like next to the P365, because I'm not kidding, the P365 is noticeably smaller and carries more ammunition. I think I already said that. We'd like to thank our friends over at Norma for supplying the ammunition to the channel free of charge. It certainly helps us with our reoccurring costs, and by donating the ammunition to the channel, we can continue to bring you wonderful content like this so we can, hold the big gun companies accountable. Thank you, Norma. P365. Okay, so this does have the little extra thing down there, but they also originally shipped with a flat base plate. Some folks just want this little extra down there. And if you want that as an option, fine, whatever. So P365, this is something that I added, little thumb rest thing on it. Small, 10 rounds, cool gun. Let's put the Beretta next to it. 6 rounds, bigger. 1 inch wide, 1 inch wide. Gotta love that size. That's gonna make it comfortable to carry. I'm being a little bit facetious there. So I wasn't kidding. P365 is smaller and holds more ammunition. But wait, there's more. Here's our 503. Yeah, I could see why somebody would choose the 503 over the P365. Makes perfect sense. I mean, gosh, nice narrow grip. Nice small slide frame dimensions there. That amazing, extendo magazine there. Or you could go with the flush fit 6 and make it just a little bit shorter. Yeah. So, as you can tell, not real impressed with 503 or the APX carry or the APX carry A1. Now, granted, this gun's a little bit smaller than that one, but if you're out there and you can find one of these for either one of these for, like $1.99, yeah, you might want to pick it up, take it to another gun store, trade it in for something that's actually useful like P365. Guys, if you enjoy videos like today's video and you love my sarcasm, please consider becoming part of our Patreon family. There is a link in the video description below. Also, Linktree. We offer great deals on firearms and accessories and things like that through our Linktree. There is a link in the video description below. And if you'd like to support us right here on YouTube in the age of demonetization, you can do that by clicking the little join button underneath the video player you're watching right now, because I can guarantee you, even though people call me a shill, most gun companies want nothing to do with me because I'm brutally honest. Thank you for 14 years of support. Oh yeah, check out that copper custom. We'll talk to you guys soon.